Hello, and welcome to the Monster Painter. This week, I tear into this cheap bag of thrift store toys looking for tabletop treasure. All right, let's dig in and find out what we have. Up front is the motivation for the purchase, but let's see what else we get. Most everything looks to be plastic toys for playing with Play-Doh. Creative and fun for sure, but not much use for our purposes. There is some kind of fantastic jet toy, not much use, and of course, the very reason for the video, these two wonderful ruined cathedral walls. Super cool and super fun. Basically, everything but the walls are plastic junk, and so I will be sending it all back to the thrift store for someone else to enjoy. So, our two ruined walls were originally part of a Heroscape game set, Rise of the Valkyries, I think, and they are quite well designed to integrate into that venerable tile-based miniature war game produced by Hasbro at the beginning of the 20th century. And this pair would greatly add to the tactical interest of that good old game. But they are such nicely designed ruins that they will add interest to just about any tabletop game where they are used. So let's take a closer look. And they are quite a well-detailed pair of ruined cathedral walls. Perhaps a bit more of a war-torn look than a weathered old relic look, but I'm not going to split hairs. They look suitable for a myriad of settings, particularly the ancient ruins of Old Felstad for my favorite game, Frostgrave. They have been given a very minimal but serviceable factory finish, and as intended, they could hit the table as is without any problem. But that is not what the Monster Painter is about. I'm gonna style these babies up. And of course, the first step, as always, is a generous coat of acrylic gesso, followed by a thorough base coat of dark brown. In this case, a mixture of a craft paint called Coffee and some Mars Black to darken it up a little. Now for the fun part. I'm going to apply a dry brush layer of unbleached titanium, a warm off-white color, to the whole thing. This will give these models an old marble look, very appropriate for a couple of ruined cathedral walls. Now, while I lucked into this pair at the thrift store, you can find numerous listings for these walls on eBay. They run for as little as $5 for one to $35 for a set of 4. That is before shipping, of course, and while eBay shipping to Canada is punitive to say the least, about $20 to $40 for these guys. If you live in the US, where shipping isn't as expensive, these Heroscape ruins represent a reasonably good value for tabletop terrain. Definitely a worthwhile possibility. Next, I will apply a lightish gray mixture of Payne's gray and titanium white to all the brickwork on these walls. This will give the model some visual interest and help with the impression that these ruined walls were once a part of an important and impressive building. To further the sense that these ruins had once been a grand structure, I will meticulously paint in a small detail along the pillars. I will use a dark brown, basically raw umber. This is in preparation for the next step. And that next step is to add a layer of metallic bronze to that detail, which is the remnant of the window frames holding in some long-lost stained glass. Historically, lead would have been used for this purpose, but bronze is a much more dramatic color, and if I'm going to bother with such detail, I want the detail to pop in a way that a dull lead gray color could never do. For the penultimate step in this project, I will apply a selective wash of ivory black to the model. This will go along the top wherever one would imagine dirt and grime accumulating on the ruin. On the wall's inner surface, I will apply the wash to the spaces between the pillars. This will help differentiate those parts of the wall as well as bring out the details of their damage. On the outer surface, I will apply the wash to the gray bricks to bring out their texture and to a couple of other spots that got overworked during the initial dry brush layer. Overall, this will help bring out the details and make the model look like a grimy, old, weathered ruin. And now for the final step, which, as regular viewers of the Monster Painter will know, is the final step in a great many of my terrain projects. I will apply a gradated wash of sap green along the base of the model, using a bit of clean water along the top of the wash and gravity to help create a convincing layer of moss along the bottom of the ruins. This will give these ruins a neglected look and help place them within an environment. More importantly, because I use it to finish all my ruins, this will help integrate and unify these models within a collection of tabletop ruins drawn from a wide array of desperate sources. And with this step complete, we can take a look at the final product. And here they are, a couple of lovely old ruined cathedral walls. They are very convincing despite having a couple of quirky features associated with their role in Heroscape. They are well designed with the right amount of details and excellent proportions for miniature gaming. While they have some war-torn details, this pair of walls will fit comfortably into most any fantasy setting. As well, they will work in many historic settings, from probably the late medieval straight on through to the present and off into the grim darkness of the 40th millennium. Solid, good stuff that I will be getting a lot of use out of. With a fresh paint job, it looks even better in its natural habitat, the battle of all time that is the legendary game Heroscape. And I must say, I have always marveled at the quality of the design and production of Heroscape. Just about everything in this game is excellent. The sculpts, the rules, the terrain, all good. Even the factory paint jobs are top-notch. I don't think we'll ever see the likes of Heroscape again. And look how comfortable the walls are beside a classic bit of Warhammer 40k terrain. Yes, indeed, they work just fine in a galaxy torn by endless war. But most importantly, they are perfect for the old city of Felstead and my favorite game, Frostgrave. And now it's time for a monster fight. This match pits 3 vicious, brutal orcs. A crossbows and catapults orc, a Dark World board game orc, and a venerable old metal Warhammer orc against an unthinkable horror from beyond imagining. A Hive Warden by Reaper Bones. And now the dice must make their decision. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what to make of that. Well, let's see how it plays out in the ring.
Alright boys, let's get that freak.
I guess that...
There you have it. In a result that bodes ill for the very fabric of reality, the unthinkable horror has been victorious. Next time on The Monster Painter, I'm going to be having painting flatulence. Oh great, there's going to be a lot of fart jokes, I think. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. Ring the bell!